What up? What up? What up? Going on, y'all? It's your boy Rich, popped up, sitting low edition of Real Talk with Rich. We in the building. I got the Chief Dundada Paul with me, and we decided to do a show tonight. So ain't nothing special going on. I've been getting my Groundhog Day on. I've been in a hole dealing with life, and it's good to be back though. So, Paul, how you doing, sir?
Cooling the fan, bro.
All right, that's what's up. Shout out to all of y'all that's watching us Facebook Live. YouTube Live, I should say. While you at it, you coming in the door, please like the video. Hang out with us for a minute. Want to say peace to everybody that's here. Frustrated Fan Sports Show, what up? Pericles, Dragon Balls, what's going on? And the rest of y'all that's going to be joining us real soon. So, just to give some context to what we're doing, every now and then you'll see that banner or that phrase popped up sitting low. And that's actually a nod to DJ Screw, a DJ Screw mixtape. Back in the day, I was a hip hop head once upon a time ago. And that was one of my favorite Screw tapes. And so I've always had an affinity for music. And matter of fact, I got to shout out to my man, Big Phil. I'm thinking about doing a show, hip hop and comics. He's a DJ, and so I know that'll be something that we can dig around. We can talk about Marvel covers, hip hop theme covers, people's fandom, coming together, mixing it, blending it, or whatever you want to call it. So it's just something that we might do one day. So we'll see. But anyway, we're here to do a show, so we don't want to prolong the time. But let me just bring everybody up to speed because I hadn't been here close to a month, if not a month. And so you all know life happens. And for me, life happened in the terms of, my father, and I'm taking care of some of his business. I am not home. I am in a hotel in Houston, Texas, where I'm just kind of lounging right now. And, just taking care of some business for him. Sometimes you got to get your grown man on and put these comics down and put the rest of this stuff down. And so I've been kind of missing in action. And so tonight I wanted a welcome distraction. I called my boy. I said, what up? Let's do a show. He's like, I'm there. So we're here. And, so we're interested in what's on your mind. But we got a few things we're going to talk about. First of all, and first thing we want to get to is we want to shout out to the Vactiverse. Myself and Brianna of the Black Comic Ladies Live show did an interview with Vactiverse, and you can find that on YouTube. And it was a dope interview. Had a good time. Matter of fact, he was running the reels on it just recently. So, I like doing that kind of stuff, getting away. I like being interviewed, not always doing the interview. It's cool. It allows me to share in a different space, and hopefully it'll bring some eyes to Black comic lords all the more. Frustrated Fans says prayers to you and your family, Rich. Appreciate that. Thank you. But all is well. I'm saying I always say this. I'm better than I deserve, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I am better than I deserve, and so for that, I appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers. But it's all good. What I'm saying? We here. Comics is still, a welcome thing in my life, and I love this fandom, and that's why I continue to try to do what I do. And so part of doing the Vactiverse interview was good. I had fun bouncing stuff off Brianna. She's light skinned and younger, and I'm a little brown and old. So, Paul, what did you think about that interview, man?
I mean, we're not even 10 minutes into the show.
man, that's funny. That's funny.
Anyway, shout out to Trent of the Vactor verse for interviewing Brianna and Richard. That was a really dope interview. Check him out on the Vactorverse on YouTube. He's also on Twitter, as you can see there, and you can see the videos. It was a great discussion. I appreciated it because having those particular two BCL members was dope, because you have Brianna, who is a newer Black comic collector, and you have an OG like Richard, and seeing their two perspectives from two different ends of the spectrum of the journey of this fandom, of this hobby. It's interesting to see those different viewpoints, generationally, and in terms of their collecting knowledge and what their interests are. It was interesting seeing those different takes, but still have the unity of having a collective hobby, that a similar interest in that hobby was pretty dope. So shout out to Vactorverse for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Shout out to Frustrated says Rich has a OnlyFans comment of the break. No, it wasn't like that.
Ah, damn it.
And Angel says you need the disclaimer because, well, Angel, I don't know if you ever watched the show. I tend to say things that that can be construed as controversial, colorful, crazy, or whatever. But we just having fun. It's all fun with your boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry, not sorry. But anyway.
we need to Angel, we need to make sure that the Black Comic Lords cannot be held responsible for the statements made by individual members or guests at any given time.
Right.
Legal stuff.
Anyway. I hate this corporate stuff. He put me in a box. Anyway. So yeah, that was a shout out to Vactorverse again for the dope interview. So we did that, you know what I'm saying? And of course, while I was down, we got a couple of trailers that came through.
Yes, we did.
And since we're a comic book group, let's start with the comic book trailer, Marvel. The Marvels. Okay. Yes. Dope. This looks like it's going to be amazing. And of course, the fanboys will fanboy. I'll just say it like that. I heard comments that it's dead on arrival. More woke stuff. I was like, okay, we can't celebrate just a new Marvel movie. Can we just celebrate that? A new Marvel movie? You know what I'm saying? An opportunity to go to the theaters and with some $25 popcorn, a big tank of soda water and some peanuts and some, get you some pizza, something. You just can we just enjoy? Can we just have fun? Can we just have fun? I mean, it's another Marvel movie. It's like a holiday. But
First
no,
of all, it's not just a Marvel movie. It's not the Marvels. It's the Monica Rambeau movie. This is Miss Monica's movie. I don't care about the other two people. I mean,
that's cool. Funny. Now we need to run a disclaimer just that on that.
I gotta disclaim. I have to disclaim myself. It's just, I'm sorry, y'all. My fandom cannot be contained. I've been waiting on Miss Monica for how many years now? If she can't have her own movie or her own television show, this is as good as we can get. Damn, Monica, I am so looking forward to seeing you on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a dope movie. I mean, I'm looking forward to all of it. Of course, Monica Rambeau, that goes without saying. This is a long time coming that she's getting a glow up, and that, more comic book heads and casual fans will get to know her a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to enjoy this because it is it is the best of both worlds, if I can say it like that, or three different worlds. You have, Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson, you know what I'm saying? And to say what you want about Brie Larson, I rock with her. She's cool. I'm not mad at her at all. You know what I mean? She's been serviceable, if you say that. But of course, we're all looking forward to Tiana Paris's, portrayal of Monica Rambeau. But what can we say about, Miss Marvel? I mean, that was a fun, limited series that was on Disney Plus. That was, wasn't for none of us. If you were Muslim, you had to be happy because you got a chance to see a Muslim superhero. You also got a chance to see her as a teenager. You weren't inundated with the religion or with her faith or whatever. It literally was in the background, and it told this fun story about this girl who idolized, Captain Marvel. So I just think that it's gonna be dope either way. You know what I'm saying? The fanboys are gonna boo-hoo it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the trailer. I think that will it do $1 billion? I don't know. I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care if it makes $1 billion.
Yeah.
What I'm looking forward to is watching that movie with my daughter, taking my daughter to see that movie.
Yes.
I had this experience recently. This weekend, my wife went out. She went to a wedding. So it was me and the kid at home.
Okay.
And we're chilling. And I'm like, hey, why don't we watch a movie? She's like, cool, Daddy, let's go watch a movie. I said, what do you want to watch? And I was like, let me expose you to the Goonies. She's like, the what? No, I'm not interested in that. I don't know what that is, Daddy.
That's old school there.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not interested. I don't know what that is. And then I was like, well, what do you want to watch? She's like, can we watch that Wakanda Forever movie? I still haven't seen that yet. I was like,
oh, wow. All this time, bro, y'all hadn't sat down and watched it?
Look, you know my feelings about that movie.
I know. I'm just saying.
I saw it once. I did not need to see it again.
So did you watch it? That's the question.
My daughter asked me, so of course I watched it. So
Okay.
I said, all right, fine, let's watch it. I'm sitting there just looking all miserable, playing the credits, seeing Shhhh on the screen, playing the boss. My brother's dead. And then, after like the first 15 minutes, my daughter's like, Daddy, this movie's sad. Like, why is it so sad? Like, everybody's dying. And then you get to the scene where Ramonda dies. And then they do another funeral. She's like, another funeral? She's like, Daddy, another funeral?
Yeah.
This movie's sad. Ugh. And I'm like, yeah.
Pretty much.
This is like a long, drawn out, just movie about death and grief. I'm like, kids don't need to see all that. But then we had this scene where Shuri, the STEM specialist, meets up with Riri Williams,
right,
another STEM specialist, both Black Girl Magic, right, on the screen. My little girl literally screamed out. She's like, yes! Riri and Ironheart in the same movie. Daddy, how come you haven't bought me the newest books on that yet? And she was so excited. She was like yelling, bouncing out of the chair when she saw Riri suit up in her Ironheart suit. And then she ran to her room. She's like, yes, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this. She ran to her room. I got her this little Funko Pop of Ironheart, And she said, Daddy, it looks just like the one from the Funko Pop that you got me. This is so exciting. This is so great. I can't wait to read these books. And she's like excited.
Yeah.
And then she sees Shuri suit up in the Black Panther suit. She's like, yes. Yes, I can't believe it. Oh, wow, she looks fantastic. And then, you look at the movie in a completely different light.
Oh yeah.
Although I still have my issues with what they did with the film.
Mhm.
I still have with my issues with making this movie, this $1 billion movie, basically a $350 million
It's got
therapy session for dealing with grief. Um,
it happens.
the redeeming quality of seeing these two young black women who are into STEM,
Mhm.
that's their superpower. I mean, Shuri has her other powers, but her real superpower is her brain,
Right.
as is Riri's. And seeing them on the screen, giving each other a pound, dap, just exuding and complimenting each other in their brilliance, and both giving love to each other
Mhm.
because of their brilliance. That means a lot to me, and it meant a lot to my girl who's um into like graphic designs and stuff like that and being
Right.
creative.
Okay.
So it gives it a different, like, I just wish the long short of what I'm trying to say is I wish they had emphasized that part in the movie
Mhm.
more so than the rest of the grief part,
Yeah.
because I thought there was a lot of lost potential there that I think this Marvel's movie has the potential to tap into. There's a market there that is untapped, and unserved in young women of color seeing themselves on the screen doing great things. Um, and with Ms. Marvel and Monica Rambeau on the screen,
Right.
or Carol Danvers, I think this is gonna be a sleeper hit, and I really hope it is.
C. Cole says there is no reread book because Marvel won't just do graphic novels or novels like they did with Shuri. There are 3 books that sold and endorsed by schools. I mean, isn't Ironheart in the new Iron Man book, Tom?
She had some bit parts in the new Iron Man book. Well, the last one, not the newest one, which is called I Am Iron Man.
Okay.
She got a bit of a power upgrade without doing any spoilers.
Right. Yeah. Angel
Angel
Perry says,
says,
yeah.
"Go ahead."
No, the representation matters and has a massive impact on all of us. And I think that's the gospel truth. The thing is, we don't get enough of that. You know
Wow,
what I
Trust
mean
could
when I
have
say
said
we don't.
I'm a terrible girl dad. You don't know me like that, bro. Trust, I'm a pretty good girl
Um,
dad.
you know, but I think that when I say we don't get enough of it, we don't get enough of it in terms of when we see it, it's just amazing, and we just enjoy that. We enjoy that part of the fandom. We enjoy versus the quote unquote traditional Western comic fanboy pasty dude enjoys it because again, like I tell everybody all the time, they've had 80 years of comics to look at themselves and 80 years to aspire and 80 years to do all these different things. And so now a few movies take the time out to show, black women or black girls of color, or black men or men of color. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even stop to think about. We forgot to put it in the in the show talk, but in the show prep, I should say. But think about the Blue Beetle trailer that just came out,
Yeah,
and
that looked good. That
yeah,
looked
that's
really good.
good. Very, very good. Very, very good. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So,
What's interesting about Blue Beetle is, Jaime Reyes is technically the third Blue Beetle.
right.
Does anyone really care about the other two?
Nope.
No one remembers even the first one's name. And then there's Ted Cord, which, seems like kind of a bumbling comedic character. Nobody cares about those two others.
Yeah. Well, it's
So
interesting. I think,
technically, Jaime's a legacy character, right?
right.
Because he has the name Blue Beetle, but his power set and what he uses is completely different than his two predecessors. They have absolutely no relation whatsoever because
Yeah.
he gets his power from the Scarab.
Right.
Um,
But I
So
will say,
it's almost better. It would have been better if they almost renamed him something else.
yeah. But I will say this about the previous Blue Beetle, especially the first one. It was Ken Quattro, I believe, that that shedded some light on black artists that I believe did work on Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle's been around since the 40s.
Yeah.
So for those who may or may not know that. So this third iteration or this third version of the character is the most popular version. It's the version that people have seen in cartoons and in the latest comics. And like I say, no one really cares about the previous two. I don't know too many, white Blue Beetle fans. I'm pretty sure they're out there. But
C. Cole says, Ted Cord fans screamed, "We want Ted in DC forms." Like the two guys, are just super loud. Like, oh no, this isn't like, dude, come on. You weren't checking and hitting up DC for more Blue Beetle prior to this trailer. So just stop.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, it's hilarious to me to see these guys just lose it over that. You know what I'm saying? They want this, they want that, or whatever. And then when they get it, they still complain about it. So make up your mind. The next trailer, though, we want to talk about. We can keep this black girl magic going. Star Wars, Ahsoka.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Look,
what
man,
can you say?
I am a huge, huge, huge Star Wars fan. More so a Star Trek fan, but I'm still a huge Star Wars fan. So much so that I'm not just into the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into the animated series. I'm into the comic books. And I have it up here on the screen. When she dropped this line, heir to the Empire,
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars heads. Here's the thing. For people in my generation, you had the original 3 Star Wars films, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing, no rumors, anything about, they're going to be a prequel series or another series afterwards. We just had the 3 movies. That's it. Mm-hmm. And so as a Star Wars fan, in order to maintain your fandom, you had to look at the novels.
Yep.
You had to look at the comic books, the video games. That's where you filled in your fandom in what is now called the Star Wars EU, or the expanded universe, or the Legends. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of companies that took over the comic book properties. Dark Horse had a tremendously great run after Marvel had the original license. And they released some really dope books. One of them was Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy, which was an adaptation of the novels that he did. And in those novels, it sort of bridges the gap between what happened in episode 3, what happened after Return of the Jedi, mm-hmm. episode 6, what happened with the New Republic and the remnants of the Empire. And the big bad of that, because the Emperor is dead, allegedly, is General Thrawn. And he sort of takes over the remnants of the Empire. And ultimately, you find out his big plan is to bring back Palpatine as a clone. These aren't spoilers, really, because this is pretty common knowledge amongst the Star Wars community. If you've read these books, if you read these comics, you know what's coming. And what's coming is dope.
Much. Yeah.
And then
I will tell people, though, if you want, I'm sorry to interrupt. But what I will say is, because we want to keep it comics, if you want to be entertained thoroughly by some Star Wars stuff, there is a graphic novel, because you can't find the floppies, but there's a graphic novel or trade paperback, I should say, called Thrawn. Yeah. You should go get that. It's pretty good. So I will just tell you, people fawn over Palpatine and Darth Vader, and rightfully so, but Thrawn is right there. So I'm looking forward to that. So
Frustrated fan says that wasn't canon. Well, here's the thing. The showrunners for Star Wars right now, the main guys that are creatively the showrunners for Star Wars, is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau largely because of The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
But understand, Dave Filoni is that guy. He is the heir apparent, if not in corporate status, certainly creatively, to George Lucas. George Lucas handpicked Dave Filoni to make his animated series back before Lucas even sold to Disney. Dave Filoni's television series, The Clone Wars, the Star Wars Rebels, Resistance, all these are Dave Filoni properties. This is how Dave Filoni filled in the gaps between these films. And he expanded the Star Wars universe more so than anyone else other than George Lucas himself.
Yeah.
So, everything that you're seeing, all these characters you're seeing pop up in Mandalorian and, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, Ahsoka, these are Dave Filoni characters.
Yeah.
There's a whole universe. The hardcore geeks that have been following these animated series are going crazy because we know the significance of these people that you're seeing in these trailers.
I think he also was saying that he was talking about Frustrated was saying that a lot of the Dark Horse comics was not canon in particular, and it wasn't.
Well, that's the thing. Filoni's making it canon.
Yeah. Well, for me though, I guess for me, I mean, I love Star Wars, but I'm not into the fandom like that where this versus canon or whatever. Because I just enjoy Star Wars in general, all of it. I don't have but one trilogy in my library of Star Wars books, and it is the trilogy of Darth Bane, who created the Rule of Two under the Sith. The show that I'm looking forward to that's coming down the pipe is The Acolyte.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be the show. That's when a lot of fanboys going to really lose it.
That will be the first series done in the High Republic.
Yes.
Which is the 100 years or 200 years prior to the Battle of Yavin that you saw in Star Wars: A New Hope.
Yep.
When the Republic still had Jedi aplenty.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, if you're not familiar with it, pick up some comic books because there are plenty of High Republic comic books that are going on right now. For the last 2 years, I've been telling y'all, don't sleep on the High Republic comic books. It's canon. Yeah. And it will show up in the movies someday. It's all laid out for you.
The problem though with that, Paul, is it's too many of the new books. It's like literally like what three different runs now.
Yeah, there's a lot of runs. There's a lot of runs.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of books to go to cop, and then of course a lot of the books are keys. When you scan them, that CLC particularly is letting you know that these are first appearances. These are key books.
How many times have you heard me say by the High Republic? It's all new characters. It's all keys. I've been saying that for 2 years.
Yeah. I got quite a few myself, so I'm not gonna miss the Star Wars train as far as this. I got the key books. So,
you at least got to get the first High Republic series. Yeah, that's the one to get. That really sort of sets the stage for a lot of what you're seeing. But the sister, what's her name? The one from The Truth, The Hate You Give.
Oh, you talking about
Amanda
Stelberg. Stelberg. Yeah, I think
she's the star of the show. The actor.
Yeah. Well, is working on? I think Sebastian's working on that show. I believe.
Yeah, it's going
as well. Shout out to Stranger Comics.
The other thing about the High Republic that makes it so dope on the low, just about every High Republic series has had a black lead.
Mm-hmm.
Every single High Republic series has had a black lead or a significant black character.
Yeah, the future is black.
Black ain't
Sorry,
black. Star Wars making up for all those years of only having Lando
we only had
Calrissian.
one. Good. Shout out to Lando. It's Lando Calrissian holding it down for 30, 40 years.
Billy D got to be smiling. He's like, yeah, they made some more of me. Finally,
So
40 years
anyway,
later.
but yeah, we got some dope trailers. We got that coming, of course. And right now, Mandalorian is getting ready to close out. I know a lot of y'all have already seen it. Please don't spoil it. I have yet to watch the last. I will watch it after I get off tonight. So we got that Star Wars. The future of Star Wars is bright. I said it earlier that I wasn't feeling the news that they're going to do another movie with Rey in it. I don't understand. Can we just get past the Star Wars legacy? I mean, I understand. Look, I get it. You like white people from the Midwest. I get it.
I'm not even pulling the disclaimer.
I get it. I mean, that's what it is. Luke's from Kansas. Luke is from the I understand it. I get the connection. He's on a backwater planet and he becomes the savior of the universe. He becomes a Jedi, and y'all can't let that die. It's okay. It's okay. Can we give it a rest?
Lord of mercy.
So, but we got more Ray coming. So I mean, hey, it's like, please do a better story. That's all I'm gonna say. That last trilogy, what I'm saying, that was brutal to watch. That really was. That was just, that was like somebody scratching a chalkboard.
Yeah, they can let the Skywalker saga go. It's done. Just let's move on and expand
That's
out.
all I'm saying.
Expand the universe beyond the
do some old Republic stories. Do some. If you
Old Republic would be dope.
I don't even know. And see, that's the thing with all the New Republic stuff that they're doing. I don't necessarily know that they're going to want to go back since they've quote unquote going forward. But we'll see.
That's what the Acolyte is going to do: is test the waters to see if people are ready to see what happened before the original.
We have not had a show. Here's the thing. I think it's going to hit because one, we have not had a show that focuses on the Sith.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Sith is that the Sith is the quote unquote antagonist in the Star Wars universe, but no one knows very little about the Sith. There's not a lot of books about the Sith, even though there are hundreds of Sith lords you can read about.
Let me share something with y'all. The Sith's problem is they have bad PR. All right? Mark my words. When that Acolyte series hits, you're going to realize that his Sith got kind of a bad rap. Yeah. They're not all bad. They just got bad PR.
Well, somebody cue up Rolling Stone Sympathy for the Devil.
Don't make me do it.
You know what? We're going to move along, y'all. So y'all check out the Star Wars stuff. So there are times when we have to do a little housekeeping. We can tell people to sweep around your doorstep, but when there's dirt on your porch, there's litter on your sidewalk, you have to address it. So this roast discussion, if I can say it like that, is courtesy of the Black Comic Lords, or should I say, the Black Superheroes Forever chat. The post. There was a post.
Oh, Lord.
There was a post in our Black Superheroes Forever.
You asked for sympathy of the devil, you're taking it down that rabbit hole. So
yeah. See, these are the shenanigans that go on in Black Comic Lords, y'all. Anyway, so there was somebody, our fearless leader, the founder, the troll, the man, the legend, Herschel Lewis. He brings us tonight's entertainment via a Facebook post.
Here we go.
Sorry, not sorry. So anyway, Herschel put up a post in our chat on our group, Black Superheroes Forever. And some of the responses was interesting, needless to say. If you could, Paul, bring up the post itself, we will tackle the comment. This is the post. This one right here. And like Herschel legendary status will do, he says, let's see what happens. Herschel is like, taking a fire to a cherry bomb. It's just like, okay, should I light it?
What is that Alfred said in the Batman movie?
Yeah.
Some people just like to see the world burn.
Yeah. So what you have here is a picture of Calvin Ellis. I originally said Valzar, but that's Calvin Ellis. And fan casting choice. So this thing about Black Superman has been a topic of discussion in our limited history. We've gone over this ad nauseum. People just do not like the idea of a Black Superman. Me, myself, personally, as someone who watched Superman on the big screen, Christopher Reeve,
1978,
and watching him and then hearing that music, that was the first real superhero movie, in my opinion. There have been others, but that was the movie.
Yeah, it was.
And the one scene where he is stripped of his powers, or it appears to be that way, he tricks Zod into putting him in a chamber that's going to strip him of his powers, and he actually reverse engineered it where Zod and his crew were stripped of their powers, and he wasn't. And he takes Zod's hand, and he literally crushes it. Cue the music. Da, da, da. That's it. It's been all downhill since, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been all downhill since Superman 2.
It's been all downhill. I like Black Panther, but there has not been a scene. I said what I said. There has not been a superhero scene that compares to that. I'm sorry. I know y'all want to be, I'm pro-Black or whatever, but let's just call it what it is. The boy in blue did his thing in that particular scene. We have seen some incredible scenes, superhero scenes, but there has not been one since that scene. Paul, you tell me, Paul, name another scene that's just on that level.
Look, I'm the wrong person to ask because, like you, I was a kid when I saw that film. And, for our generation, when you saw that movie as a kid,
yep.
You believed a person could fly.
Yes.
I remember because I saw it when I was a kid in Brooklyn. And the big local news story was that this kid watched the film and then went home. And then he went on his fire escape and jumped to his death because that movie had him believe he could fly.
Yeah.
It's a sad tale, but it shows you how the impact of these films can have on kids.
Yes.
And Christopher Reeve truly embodied Superman and Clark Kent. And the Richard Donner films were just brilliantly done. Yes. From the music to the special effects, the story. That's classic cinema.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of good portrayals of Superman since. But at the end of the day, whenever there's a new Superman, a version of Superman, what's the first thing they do? They compare it to what?
The first one.
They compare it to Christopher Reeve in Superman 1 and 2. I don't mention 3 and 4 because they're not worth mentioning. But, you know, they compare it to those first 2 Superman movies because that's the benchmark, not only of Superman movies, but honestly of superhero films.
Period. That part.
Those films had you believe in a hero, you know, and that portrayal transcended race and albeit gender and nationality.
That, you know.
That was just a heroic portrayal of a human being.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, and the thing is, let's just, you know, marry that to the Black experience for a moment. This thought that, okay, we can't be Superman because it's a white character.
Yeah.
But people second guess whether or not Icon is Black because Icon's an alien. How is it that the original superhero, who happens to be an alien,
doesn't get that question?
Doesn't get that question.
No one ever says, is Superman truly... How can Superman stand for truth, justice, and the American way, and he's an alien? An illegal alien at that. He doesn't have no papers.
Yeah.
Right?
That's another story.
Question. But in our community, our self-loathing community, we ask stupid ass questions. Excuse my language. We ask stupid questions like, is Icon really Black because he's truly an alien? Yep. I'm like, he's more Black than you are because he's lived the totality of the quote unquote African American experience from slavery to emancipation to Jim Crow to World War II to the 50s to the Civil Rights era to the 70s. He lived the entire experience as a Black man. I don't think there's a Blacker person you could possibly find than Icon based on that.
Yeah,
he's lived it all.
That's another story. That's another layer to this funky onion, if I can say it like that. So people have problems with Superman, a portrayal of Superman. He said, let's not go down that route. So people have problems with Superman possibly or being manifested as a Black man. And I can understand both sides, you know, because again, original characters, that's what we say that's what we want. We say that's what we really desire. And here's the thing about that. We just talked about Icon, and we talked about the problem with Icon. We didn't even get into the fact that Icon is quote unquote Superman, but he doesn't have the S on his chest, which means hope. He doesn't have that. He's an alien. He crash lands here in antebellum slavery, and he becomes a Black man. So,
what's up, Phil?
You know, it's one of those things where you just can't win. So Herschel puts up this post, right? And there's a particular comment that asks the question about why are we so enamored, or I don't know if you can bring up the comment or not, Paul, and it's too far for me to really see it. But the guy pretty much calls out everybody and saying that we don't care nothing about Black superheroes and Black creators. And this is a guy that just joined our space, you know, like a cup of coffee ago. Very new to our space. Doesn't really know what it's about.
Is it this one?
I can't read it.
Says, I'm trying to understand the fascination with Blacks wanting to see traditionally white heroes be imitated by their Black counterparts.
Yes.
That S is whack because most Black heroes in mainstream comics were created at a time Blacks weren't considered equals. I think this is a BS trend while I watch Black artists and writers get no love from their own people.
Yeah, that part. And here's the thing about that. we can't, as Black comic lawyers, Black superheroes fans, we cannot speak for the whole Black comic book community. We can't. I refuse to. But if you come down our street, with the wrong color on, it's going down. It's like, this ain't no Crip blood situation, but if it's like the Warriors, if you come through my neighborhood and you got your colors on, and they don't match what's going on, what we're doing, we got to call you out. So in essence, we got to call this foolishness out, because I think it's kind of sad for people in this day and age, in 2023, with all of the Black comic books that are out now, with all of the Black creators that are making moves right now, with all the people that are doing things in Hollywood, IPs, blowing up. Black creators don't get no love. That's just not true. Now,
wow, you see the rest of this guy's comment?
Of course,
I did. This is the first time I've seen this, so
Yeah.
excuse me. It says, so he goes back to Herschel. He says, there are entire Facebook groups dedicated to Black artists and writers and people who share their work. A few actually have major deals in the works, so you're lying on our people by saying they never promote their work. Now, perhaps subconsciously, you're not looking for our people's work because you're not interested in art that's not endorsed by the powers that be, aka whites, or you can just be a hater. The issue is Black artists and writers don't have the machine behind them that these mainstream comic companies have. All we have are skills and community for support. As soon as a new character is created in Marvel DC, they pushed on every visible platform. How else did I find out Nightcrawler is going to be Spider-Man? You're lying on your own people. All I see on my news feed are Black-owned and ran comic book companies. But then again, I don't care about white writers imagining us in their superhero scenarios or appeasing Black Lives Matter by making traditional white hero Black. Out of nowhere, in our long history of inequality in America, I only see a Black Superman as a given privilege because it's actually just that. Sudden wave comes along, that LGBTQ BS, and it's just as political. Again, out of nowhere, ninjas get to replace the so-called white man as heroes, not unless there's big money involved. So-called Blacks are why Black Panther broke box office records.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it is. And we can't unpack it all. I will just simply say this. I'll let you respond to it, Paul, but I just want to say this, and I'll hand you back the mic. What he says has merit. However, it's skewed in that, because I asked the guy a question. What should we be checking out? It was crickets, literally. And Frustrated says, y'all know that was an avatar. Yeah, probably a bot. I've learned that Russians don't like Black people either, Paul.
Or Americans, apparently. Well, except one's for GOP. But
shout out to DJ Phil. Remember that the internet isn't a true reflection of reality. It just gives people a chance to be loud when they usually don't have a voice in their home/community. Yeah, you're right. But still, dude, how is it?
Phil said gang.
Yeah, but how is it that, you can fix your mouth to say that these creators don't get love when we're doing everything in our power to give them that love, but we have to also we got to hold our people that are doing this art form accountable, because we cannot endorse everything that comes down the pipe. There are 50,000 artists, 50,000 writers, like there's 50,000 rappers. That's why rap is trash today. It's just too many of them. And, it's like, take a look around before you make a statement like that. Somebody brought it up. I think it was, I think it was behind the scenes. He said, some men just want to watch the world burn. And that's true. That's true. I mean, some people, maybe he just said it to just kind of start a fire or whatever. But I just don't like the fact that he tried to say that that Herschel, of all people, was lying to our people about that. And all Herschel wanted to do really is just get people's thoughts on the fan casting. He wasn't even trying to go there with that. Dude just went there all by himself. And again, I don't have a problem with Valzad or Calvin Ellis or Sunshine Superman or any other Superman for that matter, or Superwoman for that matter. It's a mythological character. It's made up. It's not really a thing. Me and Paul had a conversation. I'm gonna let y'all behind the scene real quick.
Oh, well, hold on, man. What,
No. This is good. This is good. We have conversations.
Tell them about the thing I said about the
No, we have conversations behind the scenes, y'all. Listen, what y'all get on these videos is nothing. If y'all got the real conversations that we have behind the scene, we'd probably be banned. But y'all not gonna get through conversations.
We gotta save the real conversations and our real opinions on Patreon.
Yeah, you might get some of that on Patreon, but I will share this conversation. We were talking about heroes, right? And we were discussing that Black people, we have real heroes. We don't really need comics. We have real heroes. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Medgar Evers, Kwame Ture, H. Rap Brown, Toni Morrison, Richard Pryor, Pam Grier, Fred Williamson, Richard Wright, Paul Laurence Dunbar. We have a lot of heroes. We don't need to find a hero in a comic book. But if you go across the street, when's the last melanated challenge hero? George Washington? Somebody help me out. Captain Kirk? Who's the last one? What's the last white hero? The Great White Hope. Let's keep it a real stack. Who? I'll wait. Black people have real heroes. We don't have to participate in this fandom when it comes to quote unquote representation, because all our people ever do is represent.
You're about to start.
This guy here. We don't need another hero. And we don't. We got listen. The Black experience.
Cole says.
That's a good one. The Black experience in this country has forced us to be heroic in the face of danger. Think about this for a moment. Young man that goes and tries to pick up his child, his sibling, rings the doorbell in the wrong street. His crime? Being Black on somebody on the wrong doorstep.
Bro, that made me so pissed off, man, to hear that story. That literally could be any one of our children.
Any one of us, any one of our children. Could be your daughter, could be my daughter, could be your son, but in the face of all of this adversity, we still can hold our head high. We still can salute freedom fighters. We still can salute struggle, because unlike comic books, we fight a real fight. And again, the comics for us is entertainment, literally, in every sense of the word. Ain't none of us are begging and desperately pleading and dying for diversity. No, all you got to do is look at the real story, the real heroes of life. Whether we're talking about freedom fighters, literature, music. Bro, let's talk about music for a second. We got DJ Phil in the building. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Ohio Players, Barcades. Need to be recent, Silk Sonic, Tim's, Maze, Al Green, Mighty Clouds of Joy. Need some gospel in your life? What I'm getting at is we literally have people that give us the soundtrack to life. Marvin Gaye. Those are real heroes.
Message.
Some of y'all collect comic books, and some of us collect albums. You know, and they all tell stories. Stevie Wonder, Talking Book. I mean, these are our heroes, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Bob Marley, Redemption Song.
He's a national hero.
World as international hero. That song, Redemption Song, every time I hear Bob Marley, I nearly cry when I hear that song. Every time I hear it. I mean, the first time I heard it, and I was driving in my car. I had a cassette tape of it. There's no music, it's just the guitar and Bob singing, right? And you literally hear his soul in that song. It's a simple song. But man, that thing has so much flavor in it, so much color in it, so much sound in it. Emancipate yourselves from anti-slavery. Preachers, all of that, bro. And here's the funny part about it. All of that shows up in our art. Dwayne McDuffie, John Jennings. Didn't John Jennings quote some lyrics in the last Ghostlight book? we gotta find the page. But that the young cat, he was talking something about some music. I can't get it. But I'm just saying that all of our stories, they show up in our art, in the comics. So when we see something like a quote unquote Black Superman, is it far-fetched? I mean, we live in under the weight of white supremacy. How many people get from up under this boot? That ain't a hero. I'm just saying. And it's just funny to me that these white guys, they want to escape. They want to escape. They want us to escape the fantasy and just be in the fantasy, right? I don't want politics in my books. I don't want this in my books. I don't want, but you don't understand. Our blood, sweat, and tears are wrapped in this history. We cannot talk about it. Even when we put on a Superman cape or whatever, it's still right there. I mean, and that's why I don't understand.
Here's the thing, man. As admins in this space, we see a lot of comments people make. And we have to sort of police it to the extent that we can with the time that we have and the limited resources. And we got thousands of people on these pages. And we can't control comments being made by thousands of people every day. And I think people have that misconception, like, why do you all allow these people to say this and say that? Like, we have day jobs. You think I'm sitting there with my phone all day saying, oh, let me check this comment. Let me check this comment. Like, we have lives. But beyond that, here's a very simple principle that a lot of people don't get. Black Comic Lords is a platform for you, right? For all of y'all. It is a safe space that we've created for you to have the opportunity to share your feelings about your hobby that we all share, for you to see what other people are sharing from their love of the hobby. You know, it's not like it's like Baskin Robbins, right? It's going into an ice cream store.
Mm-hmm.
It's Baskin Robbins. We're all there in the store because we all love ice cream.
Yep.
But there are different flavors to ice cream.
Different flavors.
And if you like, you know, rum raisin, who am I to say you shouldn't eat that? You need to eat strawberry. We all like ice cream. What does it matter what flavor you like and what you like? Or if you like to mix flavors together? The fact remains, we're all here because we love ice cream. And we're not here to necessarily, if you notice, we don't really share a lot of opinions. To some extent, we do, because some stuff is brilliantly great and some stuff is horribly trash. But for the most part, we don't share a lot of opinions. We more just sort of put the stuff out there and let you guys talk about it, because it's a platform for you to communicate with others with the same hobby. And for people to attack us and say we have an agenda or we're not being black enough, and some hotep talking about all you guys don't support black creators and they ignore. I'm like, I don't even get bothered by those comments anymore.
Nope.
Because our work speaks for itself. What I say is, have you checked out our website? Have you checked out our YouTube channel? Have you seen the interviews that we've done?
Nope.
Have you seen the interviews that we've done with independent creators? It's all there. Have you seen all the posts that we've done of independent creators, black creators with original black characters that you say don't get any shine, that we give shine to every day? So I don't even take it all that personal anymore, because at the end of the day, these are people that just want to see the world burn. It is what it is.
But I think it's kind of sad.
I actually feel bad that I actually gave this guy the time of day and put his name out
Oh,
here.
it's all good. I don't even know if he's still a part of the group. Maybe he is. I don't know. If he is, though, I mean, look, dude, you know, go to, you know, I don't even think we posted our YouTube, our YouTube or our website page in response to. I just asked to do the question. Who should we be looking at? Who should we be checking out?
Or as I like to phrase it, what's on your pull list?
Yeah, exactly. Which kills me. All these guys y'all don't support. Well, tell us who we should support. They never tell us who we should support.
Yeah.
It's always you know what? You know how everybody wants to fan cast what's his name? Michael Jai White for every superhero. Everybody say Black Sands. Black Sands is the new Michael Jai White. Stop it. Give us somebody else. Give us somebody else, please. That's all I'm saying. Just give us somebody else. But you know, it is what it is. But listen, guys, y'all tell us, you know what I'm saying, what y'all checking out, what y'all reading. You know, we didn't really talk about any books tonight. You know,
it's New Comic Book Day. I don't even have.
It is New Comic Book Day. We ain't talk about no books, but I mean, that part of it's because there's not a lot of stuff out this week. There is one book, but we're not going to talk about it because we don't want to spoil it. Except to say that, you know, y'all get it together. That's all I'm gonna say. Because this last issue was. You baited us in, and then it let us down.
We're not going to call it out by name.
Nah. We're not doing that.
I will do this. So let me share this real quick. Just a quick run through. I didn't get to read much because this is literally New Comic Book Day. Here's the new books that came out this week. We've got Avengers Assemble, Omega, Bishop War College. Now, I did see on Twitter some panels from this Bishop War College, which would suggest that they're going to have some interesting moments in Bishop being in this all-black X-Men world, which I'm looking forward to reading. Black Adam. I think I did read Black Adam. This is the penultimate issue. There's only one more issue left.
Yeah.
This issue, this is written by Christopher Priest.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny? He's getting more love for writing Superman right now.
Yeah. This was originally supposed to be a 12 issue series. Mm-hmm. It's now being ended at 11.
Really?
They're going to make 11 a double issue. So rather than, spend the
extra money. Yeah.
I guess they're ending it early, but allowing him to do his full run because he's Christopher Priest. And this goes back to the conversation that Eve Ewing gave us when she talked about how Black creators don't get the respect or the latitude to given enough space to create. Meaning, a lot of Black creators will be given like 5 issues. They don't get an ongoing series. Not often. I think Black Panther is pretty much the exception to the rule. Like if you're a writer on Black Panther, they leave it open for as long as you're successful.
Yeah.
They don't get the open, the blank check that a Jonathan Hickman or a Chip Zdarsky or a Tom Taylor, these guys, they walk into a publisher's office and say, I have an idea for a story. And they say, please have a seat. Enjoy yourself. We'll keep writing you checks. Do whatever you like. They get an open check to do whatever they like for as long as they like. Those guys don't get kicked off books. They leave the book to go do something else because they're bored or that something else came up. Black creators don't get that luxury. Not
only that, Paul. You think about it. They don't get the luxury of. They don't get the luxury of telling full stories. A lot of times they have to condense what they do have.
Yeah, right.
Kevin Greavy, is one perfect example of that when he originally wrote the Blue Marvel book.
That's why
everybody knows that book, that Adam Legend of Blue Marvel series was supposed to be 6 issues. It's only 5.
Shout out to Kevin Greavy and his Darkstorm, by the way. I finally got my copy. But, I can't show this because I'm a Black comic lord and we don't support Black creators. So,
But look, we can only do what we can do. But what I don't like is that they put it on the Black comic book community that these books fail for that reason because we don't support them. It's not true. It's just not true.
It's not that we don't support them. That's y'all don't support them.
we have to pre-order books. This is a given. We have to pre-order books. Eve Ewing, she explained it in the interview how the comic industry works. That was very eye-opening from the standpoint that the sale that's on the wall. You pick up a book, you may have all the books, but you literally did not contribute $1 to that artist's artistry. Buying that book off the wall. The artist is truly judged by pre-order sales, and comic book owners or shops owners are not going to go out and buy. They'll buy 20 issues of Batman because they know they're going to get 20 people to buy Batman, and probably another 20 have it on their pull list. So they're confident buying 40 issues of one Batman book. But when it comes to an artist like Christopher Priest or Brandon Easton, the game's a little different. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. Is it rigged? Yeah, it's rigged. But that's the game. That's the game that they're in. I want to shout out to one of our Black comic lord enthusiasts. He was asking a question. We got to have this talk about why we're not supporting books, or why do certain books? Because he brought up Mr. Terrific, and Mr. Terrific initially, I guess, it sold like 56,000 copies, and then it dropped from issue to issue, and finally it kind of bottomed out at 27,000. Well, that's more than what most average comic book sales anyway. Most average comic book sales is 20,000 to be quote unquote successful.
Yeah, C. Cole says not all stores do pre-orders or pull lists. No, nobody wants to talk about that issue. I'll talk about it. Go to a different store.
Yeah.
There goes the conversation. You can. I mean, we have a link. We have links on our website. Go to TFAW. Actually, help out the Black Comic Lords too, and you can pre-order your book 3 months in advance.
Yep.
All independent books too. It's all there. Just pre-order it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing too. I think that I like Phil's kind of said the industry as a whole is hurting. It is hurting, but
Brian said the same thing. Go to a different store.
You know, you have to we have to see it for what it is. Problem with us as Black folk is that we're always late with the information.
So Azura asks, what if only got one store in your city? You can order
Midtown,
from online
midtown.com.
stores. There's Midtown. There's mycomics.com.
Comic shop.
There's things from another world. There are Sanctorum Comics. There's Golden Apple Comics, impulsecreations.net. There's a whole list of companies that you can pre-order comics from online. They'll ship them to you. If you pre-order them in advance, they'll give you at least 30% discount, 30 to 35% discount, and they'll ship it directly to your door. It's cheaper. You actually support the creators by doing that, and you get your books the same way.
I will say this, Zorbeast, that it is, you know, you might be saying to yourself, man, that's a lot to do. And sometimes it is a lot to do. I know that supporting your local LCS is important. And listen, I will say this. You can have a pull list at your LCS.
Yes.
But you also can shop at other shops as well.
Correct.
You can have another pull list at another shop, because there are literally about 7-8 different comic shops close to where I live in Fort Worth, and I go to all of them. And the truth is, I'm not loyal to any one of them per se, because they all bring something different for me. And if you're a guy that like myself, that not only likes books that are ongoing titles, but I like back issues, so I'm gonna naturally go to a shop that has a lot of back issues, so I can dig in bins and pick up books that that they don't think is worth anything, you know what I'm saying? But to me, it may be gold. But if you're going to like get ongoing titles, like for example, Philadelphia, the reason why Philadelphia has gone as long as it has, is up to 30 issues now, is because people had that book on their pull list. Rodney Barnes had support 3 months in advance before him and Jason Sean Alexander put out a book. If that book wasn't selling, if that book wasn't on anybody's pull list, they'd have probably pulled it at 18, 15 issues. But it's up to 30. There's a reason for that.
Look at this list I'm showing you guys. This is books that just came out this week. You can't tell me there's nothing here for you to read, because you've got your mainstream books with Marvel. You got your DC books, all Black characters on this list. You got your independent books here, Boom Studios, House of Slaughter with 2 Black characters, Moon Girl for your kids, Ordinary Gods, it's on its 11th issue, it's been on. Brand new series, independent book by Other Comics called Outer Spaced, Black lead character. If you're into Star Wars and sci-fi, Sana Staros. This series has a Black family, the Staros family. There's never been a Black family in Star Wars before. This book itself is making history. And you know, with them continuing with this announcement that they're going to do this Ray series, it's quite possible Sana Staros can show up there. We talked about the High Republic. This is a new High Republic series called the Nameless Terror with a Black lead again. Static came out. Some dope covers. Even look, for your Superman fans, I'm not a Superman fan, but guess what? Jamal Campbell did the art on this book. And in the last issue, he introduced a brand new Black character called Marilyn Moonlight, who I suspect is going to pop up in this series again, because they referenced her in this issue. Although she didn't make an appearance, Lois says, I need to investigate who this person is. Her history goes back to the early days of Metropolis.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, if you're not thrilled about what's coming out now. Yeah, so behind the scenes, Chuck Brown's Scar was dope. It is dope. I definitely enjoyed that book. June, which is only a couple of months away, new Black Panther run, Cyborg run, just to name of two. That's just two off the top.
Yeah.
The summer's going to be hot. So there's going to be a lot of dope books to go after, and that, as far as new stuff that you can read. You know what I'm saying?
These last two books, let me just talk about these last two books and get this off the screen. There's this series called Tower by a Blue Wave. This is written by Cadmus Johnson, who you may know as Batwing from the Batwoman television series. The actor who played Batwing, he's the writer, one of the writers on this Tower book. Walking Dead, introduction of the preacher dude. I can't remember his name. I mean, there's stuff out there to read.
Yep. Just gotta go to
different LCSs, man. I mean, support your local LCS for your regular books, and if you want to try something new, go order some stuff online.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I think Paul mentioned it, but I will say this: there are certain LCSs that you can go to where you can get your books at a discount.
Yeah.
So not only will you get your books cheaper than what's on the wall, you support the artists and the creatives or whatever, because really that's the only way we really can support the artists and creators. Now, if we're dealing with the independent stuff, shout out to Dion, who just let us know, reminded us that the Concrete Kickstarter is getting ready to start. Yes.
Shout out to Lonzo Starr, who we also interviewed a few weeks ago.
So it's a lot, what I'm saying, that we have to do. We have to jump through hoops for a lot of stuff. But you know what? It's the game. The game is the game, like Marlo used to say. So we just gotta get in where we fit in and try to do the best we can with it, because it's not going to change. And the thought that you don't have nothing to read is just not true. Got a lot of books to read. Just gotta go out there and make it happen. Blade is coming out. Shout out to you, C Bizzle. No doubt.
You know we were remiss in. I will say something we did do wrong in Black Comic Lords, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Hold on, real quick. Hold that thought, Paul. Hold that thought. They got a series called Punchline and the Vaudevillains. Yes, very good. I enjoy that. Paul don't do clowns though. Paul don't like clowns.
I don't like clowns.
I like clowns. Shout out to Jack in the Box and Vaudeville. That is a good series for real. I definitely enjoy that. For real.
Clowns trigger me. If a clown pops up in my face, I can't be responsible for what happens. Don't do clowns.
So you were saying, I'm sorry.
I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. Hold on, let me pull it up. I just saw it 2 seconds ago. There's this one book that has some notoriety that we need to, at some point, talk about. And that is Tomb of Dracula #10.
Okay, why we gotta talk about that book? Shout out to Phil. Phil probably the only collector in here that got the Tomb of Dracula book. The original. I got the
You got the facsimile though.
I got the facsimile.
I have a facsimile as well. But I did, at the end of last year, finally purchase a copy of this book. So I now am a card-carrying member of the Tomb of Dracula 10 Club. This issue, the first appearance of Blade, premiered in July of 1973. So Blade has his 50th birthday in just 3 months. We're going to have to do something special for that.
You know what? Did you read the last issue of Bloodline?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's talk about that book real quick.
Okay.
So for those that may not know.
Brian got jokes. I heard Black Comic Lords don't support Black creators. I've seen too many. It's just amazing. Keep up the great show.
Appreciate you, bro. So the Blade book, or the Bloodline book that's out, featuring Blade, Brielle got to meet her father, who is Blade. And Blade's a cool Blade's a cool dad. Um, it's funny to me their interaction, where he's very, very stoic as a father, but he does show his daughter uh, some attention. I thought that the interaction between the two of them was interesting. Like that, we have daughters. Me and Paul have daughters for children, and so you see this black man and this young black girl. He's taken the position to mentor her. She's got these powers and she's trying to figure life out. And, I don't know what happened between him and the baby mama, but, hey, he shows up at this time when, he shows up at the right time when her powers are starting to manifest. And so, I just thought that was a pretty cool book. Issue 3 was all right. I mean, to me, issue 2 was okay. Issue 1 was all right, but they really could have gave us issue 1, 2, and 3 in a big book, and that would have been amazing just to get this in one volume.
Yeah. What I liked about this particular issue is you finally have Brielle and Eric Brooks finally talk and meet each other. And I mentioned this in a show we did last week. Normally, when you have these teen sort of genre things, the teens are portrayed as being very angsty and very anti-parents and stuff like that. Right. And I appreciate the fact that this writer, Danny Lore, chose to not take it down that route and have Brielle go, oh, well, you're my dad. Where have you been all my life? I don't need you. Mom raised me without you, to hell with you. She simply said, where have you been? And he's like, well, here's the thing. Because of who I am and what I've done, it was safer for me to stay away. So I set you and your mom up because, there are people coming after me and I needed to keep you safe, you and your mom safe. But I've always been there, watching over from the vaccines. But, I did it to keep you guys safe. And she, instead of being like all angsty and angry, she goes, okay, that makes sense. Why don't you start training me now? I'm like, that's what I want. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that she didn't take it down that route and did it that way. So shout out to Danny Lore for that.
Yeah, I think that that quote unquote trope, if I can call it that, is probably played out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Blade gets viewed as an absentee father, whatever. But when he actually did this to protect her, makes sense for the he's got enemies all over the world. Yeah. So it makes sense that he would hide her or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He didn't ship her off to Haiti like somebody we know from a movie.
Because it really could have fallen down, because you said I don't know what's going on with the baby mama. Saffron, his ex-girlfriend, didn't have problems with Blade. She never spoke ill of Blade at all.
Right.
It wasn't this could have fallen into a trope of Blade's a deadbeat dad and have Saffron talk a lot of mess about Blade. And it didn't fall into that trope of a trap of a trope. And I appreciated that. So in essence, you're going to have potentially a vampire hunting family, a superhero black family, as it were. Something we don't get often. And there's potential for that here because Saffron's a vampire hunter herself.
Yeah, man. So, shout out to everybody that picked that book up. And, I think that was one of the dope reads that I read a week or so ago when it did come out. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So, as far as other books, I was curious. Do you have this book? I haven't read it yet, but I just picked it up because
Is that the Miles Morales The End?
Yes.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't great.
But
yeah, I have it.
Okay, that's cool. Now
you're not going to like it because you don't like Miles Morales.
Yeah, well, it is. Static Junior will do that to you.
And you know what? You're definitely not going to like it because you've now read the Static of the Future book
Right.
that Milestone released. So seeing that book in comparison, it's like,
Funny. Now here's a book, a Dark Horse book I just picked up. It's by Jim Starlin, white guy, but it's got black characters in it. Order and Outrage. It's a futuristic book where certain people, or privileged people, are the, I guess, top of the food chain. Everybody else gets
hold it up again.
assassinated. Order Outrage.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. This is the second issue of it here. I love this cover.
Wait a second. Aren't you in Houston?
Yes.
And yet you still managed to find time to go find
Bro,
LCS.
man, listen, I'm a comic head. I'm gonna get some time in the shop. Now Jeb says, what do you all want to see happen in the new Blade series? And do you think Blade could show up in Ewing's BP series? I mean, it's possible, but however, I will say this. I think that the situation with the situation with John Ridley's Black Panther, Eve Ewing is going to do a lot of untying the knot, if that makes any sense.
She's got her work cut out for her.
She's got a
lot of damage control and cleanup to do.
She's got a lot of stuff to kind of deal with first. So Blade showing up would not be a foregone conclusion. But the word is that Black Panther is going to be still in Wakanda. So unless vampires are in Wakanda, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense for Blade to show up, other than perhaps they may show up together in an Avengers story or whatever. But I don't think that she will. That may be volume 2. Yeah, I'll say that. I don't see.
She makes it to volume 2 because you guys got to pre-order the books.
Yeah, I mean it's Black Panther book. I mean, look, if it's any book, I'm just saying, if there's any book that you should have pre-ordered, or it's Black Panther, just because it's Black Panther. Okay, Black Panther is the Cadillac, the Lamborghini, whatever you want to call it, of the comic book stuff. I know we all like different stuff. It's fine, but you can't pass that Bentley and act like it ain't there. Okay. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? You ever go to a restaurant, or you ever go to a shopping center or whatever, you see a Bentley or a Rolls in the parking lot and you act like it ain't there? Like, no. Stop it. You see that you see that 100,000 sitting in your face. Black Panther is no different. You go to the comic shop, you know that book is on the wall, you know that book is for sale. Do yourself a favor, pre-order the book, support Eve Ewing. I think she's going to do an amazing job. The art looks phenomenal. The uniform looks dope. So this may be a swashbuckling, if I can say it like that, a swashbuckling T'Challa we get in this volume, you know what I'm saying? Because he's still quote unquote an outlaw. He might be like Zorro or the Zorro Wakanda. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I like T'Challa when he look. One of my favorite volumes is the Most Dangerous Man Alive. Black Panther in Hell's Kitchen with some pistols. I ain't mad at that. Who could be mad at that? So y'all go get these books either way. So yeah. Is it Batman in Wakanda? No. Where did that come from? Let's see. What book are they talking about? So that book came out yesterday. What book are y'all talking about, guys, in the chat? What book just came out yesterday? Batman in Wakanda.
I think you were talking about the book you showed.
Oh, no.
That independent book.
Yeah, that's Order and Outrage. That's just that cover. That's issue number 2. For whatever reason, I don't know who the artist is, but there's a lot of frontal nudity in this book, and just kind of weird. I don't think I'm buying issue 3 because it just wasn't that compelling. I bought the first issue, because I wanted to read to see where the story was going to go, and I bought the second issue, and it's okay, but it's only a 4-issue mini. So Jim Starlin wrote it. Yeah. No. That's not Black Panther. That's not Batman in Wakanda. Anyway, so what else you guys talking about? What else you guys want to talk about? Because we're gonna get ready to get out of here, man. We're an hour and 30 minutes in, so
It's a
DJ is Phil still in here? Because I was gonna tell Phil, I'm thinking about if you're still in here, Phil, I'm thinking about doing a hip hop and comics show, and I might want you to come on, hang out with us.
Black Panther, Blade, Steelworks, and Ultimate Invasion is on my pull list. Yes, that's what's up.
That's a good. Yeah, I didn't even bring up Steel. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. And don't forget,
have me explain Giant Kochu.
Wow, that's for the We Ride Titans. That all you Kochu fans out there. Yeah, I saw that at the on the wall.
That book was wild. That book was wild, son. If you're into kaiju, I mentioned this in the show last week. If you're into kaiju and mecha and stuff like that, you'll probably dig the book. But it's a weird. It was written by Jerry Duggan, and it's a mature book. It's an adult only book, and it's got adult humor in it.
Okay.
If you're into adult humor and into kaiju, you probably dig the book, and it's got a black lead in it too.
Tragic. Be a pervert. It's okay. Yeah.
Next arc in Superman book has to do with Steel as well. The book and the current arc in Superman has to do with Steel. 1054, I think, is the issue that came out this week. But there's been mentions of the Irons family throughout Superman.
Oh, let me give y'all I'm gonna send y'all to go get a late
suggestion for you, Rich. He says we should do an action figure show.
Hold that thought. I got you. I'll say something about that in a second. I'm gonna tell y'all to go get your late pass. That's good. This guy here. Go get a late pass. DC book. The Lazarus. What's it called?
Lazarus Planet?
Yeah, Lazarus Planet. In that book, a couple of issues have been out already, but in that book, there's a backstory. There's a secondary story with your girl,
Nubia.
So
it's Lazarus Planet, Planet of the Gods. Lazarus Planet of the Gods.
That's the name of it. It's a couple of books that are already out, but the secondary story is a Nubia story. So for those of you who thought Nubia was kind of taking a hiatus, no, she's not taking a hiatus. She's just in the back of another book. Yeah. And I bring that up because the new Green Lantern book that's going to be coming out real soon, Hal Jordan is going to be the lead on that book, but the secondary story in that book will be a John Stewart book. John Stewart is getting his own title later on in the year, but for those of you that want some more John Stewart books, pick up the Green Lantern book because John Stewart will have a story in that book before his run.
What is the pattern we're seeing here?
Yeah, the big main superheroes get a book, and the secondary superheroes, the legacy characters get
the back of the book.
They get the back of the book. They go to the back of the bus.
Perspective, as much as the Hoteps talk about, you need to support Black characters or have you, they don't. And so the books aren't selling well. I mean, Nubia had several runs over the last couple of years, right? She should have her own series right now, ongoing. But apparently, I guess the sales weren't good enough. I don't know. I haven't seen.
I'm going to put it on two things with that, Paul. I'm going to put it on one, the series. There was not enough interest. In two, the writing on it was. I mean, the writing was okay. It wasn't what it could be. You know who could take Nubia and really give that thing a real push?
Stephanie Williams?
No, Stephanie Williams is doing an okay job. She made the last Nubia run better than it was. But
Agree.
if you give N.K. Jemisin a shot at Nubia,
That would be sick.
you give her that book, I'm telling you that book would sell.
Yeah, she
That
take it
book
into
would
some
sell.
whole
That
futuristic
book would sell.
sci-fi type joint.
N.K. Jemisin, Indy No Okafor, Indy Okafor. Give
Yeah.
her the book. If we just sticking with sisters, now you want a guy on the book. Kevin Greavy wrote a book called
Odyssey of the Amazons.
Odyssey of the Amazons.
That's nobody talks about that
book.
series.
That
Nobody
book
talks
is
about that.
slept on
Oh
because
my God.
it's from the Wonder Woman universe.
Let me pull that
People
up.
slept on that book. That book was amazing.
He himself, when we interviewed him, said that. Like everyone slept on that book. Whole series on Amazons with a black lead.
These books are out here, y'all, but they get slept on because, again, if you say, "Oh, I'm not reading that," it's like, bro, you got to give it a chance. Sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You know what y'all need to do? You need to just go to your comic book shop, put your hand over your eyes, and just, I choose you. Just try something different.
Here's the series, Odyssey of the Amazons. Written by Kevin Greavy. Had a black lead character.
Yep.
This is long, it even says long before Wonder Woman. Look at this. Look at that cover alone. Look at that. Sister with her locks, double blade swords fighting monsters.
Now, frustrated. I like frustrated. He said, "Nah, that was bad, right?" We try to be nice here, my brother. But yeah, that Odyssey of the Amazons book was amazing. I think that he could take Nubia and give it an amazing push. I mean, look, guys, we got creators that are more than capable to do these characters justice. And one of the things that I said early on when they were bringing Nubia back was that we don't really know who she is. And we're 3-4 volumes or in, and we still do not know. I maintain this to this day. The best Nubia story that I've read, it's just Rich. The best Nubia story I read was the Future State Nubia story that was in the Immortal Wonder Woman book.
Dion got jokes.
John really Fanucci. hey, John really got skills. He just mucked up Black Panther. That's he's not going to be forgiven for that cardinal sin, I guess.
We will not refer to the outlaw American writer on this channel any longer.
Too funny, man. Too funny.
He has outstanding warrants from the Kingdom of Wakanda.
Yeah.
We shall have justice someday, my friend.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of you guys are Marvel guys, but DC got the better stories.
Sometimes.
I stand by that because, again, when you talk about story writing and storytelling, I mean, Marvel got the dope characters, but DC got the better stories. There's a 4-issue DC Black Label that came out not too long ago called Rogues. It's a story about villains. Captain Cole, matter of fact, Bronze Tiger's in the story. Captain Cole, Bronze Tiger.
Bronze Tiger's not really a villain, though. It's kind
of. But he's in this story as a villain. He's working with Captain Cole and some other to knock off Gorilla City, and it gets very very it gets very very messed up because Gorilla God don't play that. Gorilla God is a gangster for real.
That is up there. The answer is yes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Now, to answer the question about the action figure show, I'm not an action figure guy. Paul is, Herschel is, I like Funko Pops. I mean, myself personally, I bought a Funko Pop today. Matter of fact, I bought a couple of Funko Pops in the last couple of days. I bought Azrael's Funko Pop, Michael Lane's version of Azrael. I bought that. I also bought.
I didn't know there was one of that that existed.
Yes, it's a Walgreens exclusive. Matter of fact, Walgreens has that and Dr. Voodoo and Bishop Funko Pops that are exclusive to Walgreens.
I got Dr. Voodoo and Bishop here along with next to Moon Girl, but I didn't know there was a Michael Lane from Azrael.
Yes. Azrael. Matter of fact, Azrael Lane is in the Arkham universe. That's what separates him from the white Azrael. That Azrael is not a part of Arkham. The Arkham Knights, if you know, you got to be a Batman cat to know that. There's one of Lane. Yes, there is a Funko Pop Azrael. It's a Walgreens exclusive, so you can only get it at Walgreens. So go to your local Walgreens to see if you can find it.
Brian's asking, am I getting the Miles Morales Legends figure? No, because I have the Miles Morales figure from the first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, where he has his hoodie and his sneakers. And for me, that's like the best version of Miles. That's my favorite version of Miles, is where he's wearing his Jordans and his hoodie. And that's the only Miles I've seen with that on. So I've got that, so I'm good.
Frustrated folks saying, since I am too, I would love to help host if you would have me. Well, let's talk behind the scenes, my brother. Just hit my boy Paul up, hit one of us up. We see if we can make that happen. The time frame on that will be the issue, I would say.
Yeah, I am going to try to interviews.
Yeah, got a lot of interviews lined up, and I will tell you that I'm going to probably start back doing shows. Real Talk with Rich, the next episode will probably be, I want to say, April the 30th, which is like a fifth Sunday. And the reason why I'm going to do a show then is because the following Sunday, I do believe, is Mother's Day. And I don't do shows on holidays. And even though my mom is not here, I will keep that up, as I just don't want to be bothered. A holiday is a holiday. So, but yeah, the next show, Lord willing, will be August the 30th. April the 30th. So, yeah. But
Sequel says, honestly, sometimes those books are not on shelves when they first come out, and I have had that happen to me. I discover some in the bins or on eBay. That happens sometimes. I mean, there are a lot of books that people are like, oh, you never had that book? And I'm like, I live in Florida, man. I mean, there's certain books the store owners just won't order.
I will say this. What you have to do a lot of times is there are, and depending on the city that you're in, may have a lot to do with it. There is a shop close to where I live. The guy, 50% of his stuff is independent. I mean, he gets everything. Aftershock, he gets Second Sight, he gets all the miniature independent Xenoscope, all that stuff that you would not normally see. Most LCSs, if it's not Marvel or DC or Image, they could care less. Yeah. They may fool a little bit with IDW or Boom Studios or whatever, but they not messing with Scout like that. They not messing with Valiant like that. They're not messing with these independent. You have to go to shops that cater to that, that niche. If so, you have to do your homework with that. Dion says DC has had better storytelling for the past few years. I'm a Marvel guy, but hardly buy anything new from them. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's a few Marvel titles. If you like Moon Knight, the Moon Knight book is good. The Cody Ziegler book is okay. I got questions, Cody, but it's okay. What is it? Strange Academy by Roberto Ramos and Scotty Young is great. That's a great Marvel title.
Series. That is a great series.
Man. So they have, and I mean, look, if we talk about Marvel, we got to get out of here, but let's talk about Marvel real quick. You brought up
Brian's got jokes.
Does the interview? Yeah. Yeah. The melanin is strong around these parts, my brother. But the Bishop War College book, for example, that book is not going to light up anybody's pull list. because it's Bishop. And that's no disrespect to Bishop, but I just think that the Bishop does not get the love that he quote unquote deserves is because they don't put Bishop in the right positions. Now they're putting him in this position where he's like training this team or whatever. Yeah, but that's going to go away in a few months. And then before you know it, he'll be backing up Killy Pride on some obscure X-Men book that nobody else talks about and nobody cares about. And the people over at Thinking Critical will continue to trash. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, don't mention that dude's name, man.
But we gotta just there are not a lot. I mean, Storm is the most popular X-Men, and she's getting a book, and it's really Storm's day. People are not even talking about the Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants. They're not even talking about that book, but they will be talking about this new run that's coming out, this Storm run that's going to be coming out. She's got a lot of shine in the X-Men Red book. She got a lot of shine when X-Men saw it. So they're trying to glow her up. So the problem is, as saturated as she is, the writing has to be superb. That's the biggest deal. What do you do with a character that's powerful like Storm? You gotta give her excellent writing, and there's not. There are. And
if you can't give her excellent writing, you give her great art on her cover, just like this.
Is that Storm? I'm like a white woman.
That is a white one. This is the cover for Storm number 3. This is the Hellfire Gala variant.
There's
a whole bunch of other variants with black people on them. Bishop got his. Shout out to Sean Damian Hill. Sync got his. T'Challa has his. Miles has a cover. But the only sister with a book has a white woman
on the cover. See, I tell y'all.
Jean Grey, I would suspect that is specifically.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Look.
Marvel Shade
has killed the Hellfire Gala in her outfits. Her outfits have been legendary, and why Marvel would choose to put Jean Grey on Storm's cover, I don't know.
Y'all let me know.
I mean, someone made a comment like, well, Storm sort of story-wise is out of favor at Krakoa right now, which is fine, but there's a lot of other black women X-Men you could have put on the cover.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, starting with Monet. Monet could have been on there.
Yeah, but again, this is one of them things where they listen, we've been giving Marvel a pass. Statute of limitations is it's like murder for me and Marvel. They not getting off the hook. I'm not going to let them off the hook easy because I expect too much out of Marvel, and they keep doing goofy stuff, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, somebody give them guys over at Marvel a clue. You have a black fan base that enjoys your black characters. What is your problem? Are y'all just tone deaf at Marvel?
They don't have enough black editors.
I mean, look, I work
let me repeat that. There are not enough black editors at Marvel.
You know what, Marvel? Listen, Marvel. Y'all send this video to Marvel in the suggestion box. Like, Marvel, I will work for a comic book. Just give me a comic book once a week, and I'll come up with some stories for you. I'll help you. I'll help you. Because right now DC is killing you. You don't have a milestone franchise at Marvel. You have nothing like that. But you got more characters than the law allow. And you know, I'm just trying to help. You know, I mean, you're not my boy John Jennings, the Honorable Dr. John Jennings, is trying to help y'all, but he can only do so much. He can only do so much. Y'all need to give John Jennings his imprint a milestone deal type deal. Y'all do that, and we'll talk about y'all like we talk about DC. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. DC, listen. When Milestone fell in DC's lap, y'all do know that, right? Milestone fell in DC's lap. Could you imagine Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, Diggle, and all them cats going over to the Marvel offices to meet with Stan Lee? Right?
What you talking about?
Going over to meet Stan Lee, right? Stan is like close to 80 years old at this point, 30 years ago. You see these brothers decked out in their suit and ties, they all business, going over to DC with the Milestone Bible.
And they went,
yeah.
Right in Stan Lee's office.
Yeah, right in Stan Lee's office. Stan was like, well, we got the Black Panther and, you know, Excelsior.
Oh,
okay, Stan, we're gonna go across the street to DC and we'll talk to them. I'm just saying, think about that though, Paul. They created a universe from scratch. And it's still here after 30 years.
You know, Frustrated brings up an interesting what if. What if Milestone had gone to Image?
Oh, no, I'm going to tell you something. Listen. I like Milestone for one. Well, I ain't going to say for one. I like Milestone for a couple of reasons. Well, one of those reasons is there's no Eric Larson covers. Okay. Eric Larson, shout out to him. I mean, I have nothing against that dude, but the image of the 90s was a nightmare.
No, I disagree.
Bruh.
Image is made up of different studios.
For Spawn, that was the hit.
Yeah.
Name another Image title.
Stormwatch, Shadowhawk.
You really think that was a hit?
Youngblood.
You still can get them books in dollar bins, quarter bins.
That doesn't mean they weren't good. You can get them a lot of black books in dollar bins and quarter bins.
Right now,
I can Milestone books in dollar bins.
I can walk in my sleep and point in any direction and find a tribe.
I'm a hardcore Image fan from back in the 90s.
I'm just saying. Look, I like Image, but remember they also had what was that Dark Star or what the heck?
Okay. Admittedly, mistakes were made. Clearly, mistakes were made.
They had a cop. I can't think of the name of the title. This is so embarrassing. But this shows you how crazy it got an Image. They start putting out colors. They didn't have, issue 1, issue 2. No, this color. This was yellow. This is blue. Issue blue. What are you doing? I mean, they had a lot of stuff that was good, but they had a lot of trash too.
They did, but they cranked out a lot of comics.
They did.
They had the same mistake that all comic companies had in the 90s. They flooded the market, and by flooding the market, you focused more on quantity than quality, and eventually it turned to trash.
Man, whole lot of trash.
If you notice, Image doesn't do that anymore. They put out a bunch of independent books, but there's no coherent Image universe anymore.
No.
Right?
Well, there is. There still is. I mean, Todd McFarlane created the Spawn universe, and so there is that universe.
Yeah.
They're trying to do that with Nocterra, But I think the glare or the gloss of Noctera has kind of worn off on people.
Yeah.
It was kind of a new novelty, and then it kind of like, okay, it's not really that good. So I'm just saying, I think don't they have Radiant Black? Don't they? Ain't that an Image title?
That was the first Image like superhero title in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I know that's definitely a what if. What if Milestone went to Image, but I don't necessarily know that it would have sustained. Because here's the thing, like it or not.
Yeah, Wildcard said a cartoon.
So did Savage Dragon. You can go to YouTube and find it.
So did Savage Dragon. So did Youngblood, for that matter, have a cartoon. And Spawn had the HBO series. So the reason I say the interesting question about Milestone going to Image is, we did a video on this. You and I did a video on this. The fact that Image in the 90s had a lot of black lead characters.
Yeah.
They had a lot of black lead characters. I would
say they do.
They had more black lead characters than any non-black owned comic book company in the 90s.
Yeah, but like all things, they all come to an end.
Yeah.
Like this show. Look, guys, we're almost 2 hours in. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We could talk another hour or two about some of this stuff, but we can't. All of us have jobs and lives and to get back to. But I want to thank each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us. We got some stuff to build upon. Stay tuned for our next, I would say, season of interviews. That's what it's kind of like.
Still trying to catch up to our last season of interviews.
So we got some new content coming you guys' way. So stay tuned for that. Also, I don't want to give it away, but there will be opportunities for you to support Black Comic Lords in a greater way. Coming real soon. We will let you know when we get the green light for that. And
keep our fingers crossed for hopefully a very big announcement over the summer.
Absolutely.
The announcement of announcements.
Yes.
I just can hope and pray for.
Yep. So until next time, it's your boy Rich. Got the Chief Dundada Paul with me. We bid you adieu with peace. And my last words for you and my last tip for you is do not go out at night. That's my tip. Stay indoors. Don't be out like these fools out here talking about, we outside. Stay indoors. Be safe. Play a video.
Message.
Stay inside. Play a video game. Watch The Mandalorian. Watch some wrestling.
I still got to watch Mandalorian before I go to bed. What time is it?
Yeah. So speaking of wrestling, listen, I grew up with real wrestling. I don't know what they call this stuff today, but I watched a little bit of Raw. I watched a little bit of SmackDown and some other show, and I just was not impressed. I was like, okay, it's a lot of lights. It's a lot of neon lights, but I guess you like it, I love it. But either way, stay inside, stay indoors, stay safe. And please don't knock on strangers' doors. They getting fools out here now. So that's why when I deliver a package, I don't even ring the doorbell. I drop it. We out of here. Peace. Until next time.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you real soon.
Absolutely.